I went clubbing for the first time a short while back, and I can tell you, what they say about being drunk is true. It's like a special society for the mentally uninhibited, and I'm not part of it. I'm sober. I do not drink because I like to have full control of my motor functions and my speech. So my friends decided it's a good idea to do pre-drinks, or prees for short, where they consume alcoholic beverages before entering the discotheque. I was told to contribute mixes, and I'm thinking, what the fuck is a mixer? Well, it's a non-alcoholic soft drink, they told me. That's what it is. Drunks have their own terminology outside the social norm. So it's early evening and I'm out roaming the streets, searching for an open shop that sells mixers. It takes me half an hour of wandering, and it turns out my friends had brought Fireball and vodka to the prees, and no one touched my drinks. No one. They sat there on the table going warm. I thought, okay, whatever. I contributed. I'm a good friend, right? So we decide, okay, in a few hours time we're going to go to the club after a couple rounds of drinks. Biggest fucking understatement. It was close to midnight when we started walking to the club, and one of the girls was already piss-faced drunk. Remember that vodka and Fireball? Yeah. She finished 1/3 of the vodka and pretty much all of that Fireball, and we are struggling to keep her. Were struggling to keep her from falling onto the road. It was like a tug of war with a bear. It's crazy how heavy a person can be when they are not supporting their own weight, while they're actively pulling and leaning away from you. It took 2 guys, myself and another dude, to wrestle her back onto the footpath. Mind you, I have never been around a drunk person before. I know what they are like, in theory, but I was not prepared for the real thing. But we got to the club. To get past the bouncers, we carefully explained to our temporarily crippled friend to please act normal for 10 seconds. 10 seconds. Restrain yourself. Fight the chemicals in your brain. And somehow, we got in. Even when inebriated, a drunk can control himself for just long enough to enter a club. That's sheer willpower, that is. We climbed the stairs to get to the main area where all the music and people are, and it was loud and goddamn crowded. People were shoulder to shoulder jumping up and down and losing themselves to the worst playlist I've ever heard. How a person can maintain their sanity in such an environment is baffling. I concluded that everyone is either drunk, stoned, or deaf. I was way out of my league. The drunk girl was collapsing on the floor every minute, only to get back up and continue dancing. At the corner of my eye, this guy and gal are making out in an opening in the crowd. At the back of the room, there was a bar for drinks and a seating area. But I swear the bar's best-selling beverage of that night was water, because holy shit, I observed people slowly losing whatever high they were on, step away from the dance floor, order water from the counter, sit on the seating area looking very depressed, then after their break, they shake themselves awake and return to the dance floor like the past 10 minutes didn't just happen. Like, what the fuck is this? The worst part has to be the COVID poles. There were stripper poles that were available for anyone to use, and I was in the wrong spot at the wrong time. My friend group had migrated to the poles, and I had pretty much no choice but to follow. We are of the same flock, but my friends respect me, they know me. Do you know who doesn't know me? Strangers. Despite my blatant head shaking and display of obvious signs of disinterest, I was pressured by a small crowd of randoms to jump on a stripper pole. Now normally I would not mind, but these poles have been used and abused by all sorts of people. Those poles had kissed more crotches than Ron Jeremy and Johnny Sins combined in one night. People were grinding up on that shit. Now you want me to touch it? Fuck no. But tell that to the random girl who was pulling me by the arms while her boyfriend cheered her on. Tell that to the guy behind me who had been encouraging me for over 10 minutes. So up I jump and grab the pole. I have touched some grimy things, but this pole takes the cake. It was slimy and sticky with human oil and sweat, the shit that's excreted from your pores. I thought, that's it. I'm getting a disease. But at least the people left me alone. And so the night carried on. Long story short, don't club if you're not tipsy. Join the collective consciousness or be left out to dry.